Well, we'll have Vince Onyekwelu, who is a security consultant, joining us online this morning. Good morning, Vince, and thank you for joining us today on the program. Well, these things are really unfolding quick and fast for a lot of people, but in consideration of the reactions that are making the rounds and perhaps expectations as well, what are your immediate thoughts?
Good morning, Chamberlain. How are you? Good morning to Nigerians. Actually, what's going on in Nigeria, it's worrying. It's very disturbing. And as a good Nigerian that had to leave my very comfort zone in the UK to relocate to Nigeria about 5 years ago, it hurts me. I feel bad. But I feel we can get it back together. I think there are warning signs there. And if we do things correctly, we can get back to board. When I say do things correctly, obviously based on information I'm getting around, the right things needs to be done. And I do not believe in the idea asking the same people that they have accusations against them of poor governance. Honestly, they cannot sit there in power and start asking the youth to go back home, that we are going to make amendments. You see, this is not what governance is all about. If you want to say to the youth, I want to support your request, we've heard your cries. First of all, let's start seeing people resigning. Let's start seeing people resigning. Let's start seeing people leaving the offices that they have failed to hold in trust for the people that elected them, for the people that appointed them. The people that are protesting.
Let's get back to Vince Onyekwelu, a security consultant. Well, Vince, different leaders in different parts of the country apparently don't see this, they're not on the same page in terms of what is going on. How do we then reconcile these demands and these requests that you're making in terms of who should be doing what? Resigning?
Honestly, as I was saying to you before, I think when you listen to the speech of the former president, President Obasanjo, I think the information I gave to you before is all included and enshrined in that statement. Now, my brother, how can you reassure trust? The major thing we've seen here, that trust has been shattered, that trust has been destroyed, that confidence has been abused. So when the subjects have lost trust in the governance, in the leaders, it's difficult for you to. We would look into your concerns. They've lost trust, and they lost trust because you made them to lose trust. The records are there that you have not given them reasons to believe you or to trust you or to be confident in your words. So they are afraid, because if they go home, for example, you could still influence all the committees that have been set up in the state and in the federal government. You could still influence who comes on board as a member of those committees and all those judiciary panels. You could influence the resolutions, the reports, the communique that will come out with. So based on trust has been lost, it's difficult. I think the best thing, as I said to you, they need to see some resignations.
Well, Vince, you know, there are different theories that explain messaging and how people internalize messages, how people will hear what they want to hear and perhaps respond in ways maybe not as expected by those message design experts. But what do you think needs to be done and by who to ensure that first things don't degenerate any further than it has, and to ensure that we all seem to have, if we could use the word, acceptable resolutions to end this?
It's not rocket science, although it's very complicated right now. It's not rocket science. 2 or 3 things that needs to be done. We need to collectively talk to the youth or the hoodlums or the criminals to stop burning national assets. There is no gain in destroying your national assets. Those buses, those buildings you're burning will be useful to you or your children tomorrow. Please stop burning any national assets. Please stop killing our police officers. Stop attacking police officers. It's simple. Number two, let's be honest ourselves. What we saw in Abuja this week, when you see hoodlums being ferried in what seems to be government official SUV cars, when we saw hoodlums being directed by men on black suits and red tie, when we see reasons to believe the presence of state-sponsored insurgency, most of us do not understand the difference between terrorism and insurgency. We see them as all the same. For me, it's not the same. Terrorism is a criminal act, although it goes beyond crime only. But when it comes to insurgency, mostly it's supported by political players in the society. It's funded by political players to serve their purpose. So what we saw in the streets of Abuja, when SUV vehicles with men on suits are talking, discussing, giving hoodlums lifts in their vehicles, it shows that the issues in Nigeria has a connotation of state-sponsored insurgency. We cannot lie about that. But if you want to bring law into this, the onus of proving beyond reasonable doubt is not on the youths at the toll gates for them to prove who came to shoot them. The onus is on the federal government to prove that what we saw there are not agents of the federal government of Nigeria. That is pure law. It's not on the youth. They've shown us pictures. They've shown us images.
With this one, Vince, just hang on a moment. How significant is it when the relevant authorities haven't spoken to all of those images and materials that are out there that people have formed opinions on? Because if they haven't spoken to all of those, are they supposed to believe them and run with them, assume whatever they will, hook, line, and sinker?
You've said it all, my friend. You've said it all. Based on your narrative of the question you just asked me now, in a society, in a civil society, in a sane society, we had video recordings, we have critical evidence of who the security agents were at the toll gate. We had critical video evidence of how hoodlums are being ferried in government vehicles, in SUVs, being directed by men on black suits on where to go and where not to go. And yet, the government, the people in power, those in the corridors of power have not come forward to speak. Now, it's simple like this. It shows the arrogance. It shows the blatant disrespect of the civilian populace. It shows the lack of regard for the voices of those that we are peacefully protesting. It shows that even if you give us a chance again to make amendments, that we will even oppress and suppress you more. So how come they wouldn't speak, saying that it was not us, when we have critical evidence? It's pure law. Prove beyond reasonable doubt that it's not you, because we have critical evidences. So in the absence of them not speaking up, it shows nonchalance. It shows I don't care. It shows do your worst. It shows if I get a chance to deal with you, I'll even make your situation worse than this. So I'm still saying it does not warrant the idea of killing lives, killing police officers, destroying properties, but it does warrant that they have lost trust. And the best thing to do now is for them to start seeing people resigning. People need to be resigning. And then they can start saying, oh yes, we are seeing a change. But promising them go home and we resolve things when you are in charge, when you have the powers to decide the outcome of these panels and all those reviews, no, they've lost trust and you made them to lose the trust.
All right, then, Vince Onyekwelu, security consultant, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning.
Thank you.